Hi, planner lovers. So, today I will be doing a plan with me, and this is for my memory tracker or memory planner that I'm doing for my son. And this is for the week of March 18 to 24. And if you have noticed, I've started to do this for this particular week, in which if there's something that I want to remember that he did or we did, or something that he did different, or just something to take note on, I would just put it on a sticky note, because a sticky note is temporary, and then I get it as detailed as possible, and I pick and choose which one I want to add in there. If there might be one that will be more significant than the other, so I have choices. I've also really tried my best to take as many pictures as I can every single day, just so there is something that, in a year from now I can look back and be like, oh my gosh, time really does fly. And I was just going over some pictures that were taken last year, and I'm like, I can't believe it's been a year. He's a toddler now. Last year this time around, he was still an infant. Was he an infant or still a newborn? I think an infant. But it's like, it flashes. You just kind of don't really think about it at the moment until time does pass, and then you're like, why didn't I do that? So that's my goal really for this. And when I started to talk about it with my husband, initially he was just like, it was something different for him, because his mom never did anything like this. My mom didn't do anything like this. I mean, my mom kept a lot of pictures. I'm talking about shelves of pictures, photo albums. His mother didn't do any of that at all. So to him, this was like a big shock, I suppose, a big surprise for him for somebody that would want to do that. I don't believe he knows anybody that does something like this. So it wasn't until, like a couple of days ago, I was going through things, and he was just kind of, watching that I was putting down some notes and stuff, and we had a conversation about it. And then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, I think after we stopped having a conversation and we're just kind of, hanging out, and I was just, getting planning on when I'm going to vlog, when I'm going to record this, and when I'm going to plan. And, excuse me, by the way. And he just goes, are you going to be doing this every year for him? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this every year for him. And I said, I told you about this weeks ago, that I'm going to do this every single, when this particular planner ends, which is December 2019, I do plan on purchasing 2020. And he said, so by the time he's going to be 18, he's going to have 18 books, because I did tell him that I'm looking everywhere to find a 2017 to 2018 planner from Happy Planner. If I can't find that, I'll just probably get an undated one, which is okay too. But everywhere I go, Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, I haven't seen anything undated. I haven't seen anything that old, There are other places in the country. I'm in the United States. If you're watching this outside of America, hello. Anyway, so everywhere I go, I don't see any of that. I do see like a 12-month 2019, or the 18-month 2019 to 2020. So I haven't really seen that yet, and I'm really kind of hoping I will bump into that. I'm still looking. I'm looking a lot of different places, but anyway, I haven't really seen that yet. So when I do have that, I did tell him I'm looking around, and when I do get that, I will document that. And of course, it was his first year of his life, so I have a ton of pictures in the computer, and I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna print them out and I mean, they're probably going to be just pictures because I don't know if there are going to be any details that I can remember, but I will be hoping that I do have details that I can remember. If you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell so you're notified every single time that I do upload a new video. So I'm really liking the sticky note system, which is, this is the first week that I'm doing that, and I'm kind of, I don't really believe in regrets, but I do kind of feel like it's good to have figured this out now than later, So, and as much as possible, I get it, as detailed as possible and things like that. Just so you know, since I've been taking, just focusing on getting as much detail as well as more pictures, and there were just a ton more pictures. That you're taking pictures, and sometimes 9 out of 10 are really bad, literally. So I'm just picking and choosing and stuff, and the ones that I probably won't fit in the weekly spread, I will probably put that on the monthly for the month of March 2019, and I'll try to figure that out. It's been kind of just a dump on it, and I haven't even situated the January, February, and March. I haven't really decorated it. I've just kind of added some pictures, and I don't really know where I'm going with that. So if you guys have any ideas for a monthly layout for memory tracker, that'd be really great. But I kind of want to see other pictures too, and maybe just add other pictures that I didn't think I would want to add if I do have more, because I do want to as much as possible, like, have as many pictures as possible, because for me, in a personal note, like, when I go through my pictures or anybody's pictures, like, I love looking at memories, my memories, another person's memory, a family member, a friend. Like, you get to see so much from your life that you didn't even think about, and you just had like a fraction of time put in a flat surface that took that moment and captured that moment, And it really inspires me, and it really does. It always puts me in awe when I'm looking through pictures. You're just like, to me, I'm always thinking, what were they thinking? How was their day that day? What made them do this picture? What made them do this pose? What made them do that facial expression? What was the weather like? Like, I have so many questions in just one picture. It's ridiculous. And I don't know if anybody else thinks that way, but I always think that way. When I just look at a picture and I'm just staring at a picture, and especially when it's like a person, I met them like in an older age, and then I see like a picture of them when they're a teenager or in their 20s, and they're like my parents' age or older and stuff. And then how like people age, and they, a lot of times, or not all the time, but a lot of times or sometimes, people just age very differently, and some people age very gracefully, and some people just age somewhat kind of hard and weathered in a sense. And it really does make me wonder how that happened, what the journey was there, because the only person that can really give you that information is not even the person living in that situation, because it's their perspective. There's one perspective, which is theirs, and there's also a different perspective where every single person they came across towards that time of journey, I know I'm getting too deep here, guys, but anyway, will have their own perspective, and they will remember certain moments that you never really cared to remember, or you never really cared was significant but for them, they were able to remember it because it was significant for them. So that is something that really does interest me a lot, and I think that's why I'm always drawn into keeping tabs in memories and moments and stuff like that. And also, there was a time in my life, teenager time, that it just wasn't like the greatest moment, I guess, in my home life. And I didn't really have a lot of pictures being taken of me. I had to really have to push myself and had to go get a professionally taken picture of me because my mother was just so busy, and she didn't really do any of that. And before, when she would take our pictures, she had like a professional camera. She would do it herself. For whatever reason, that just really wasn't there anymore. So when I hit a certain age, and I even still remember, like, I went through the shelves of my baby pictures and my brother's baby pictures, and having, all these memories. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have any more memories to move forward with. Like, in the past X amount of years, I don't have anything to look back to and say, oh my gosh, this is what happened 5 years ago. So I started to do stuff like that, and I made myself like a binder. I don't even know how big it was. It was huge. It was super tall, and it was just I just came up with it myself. I had one of those what is that, plastic inserts, and I put cardboard or cardstock in there. I would tape up pictures, and then I would detail it, the date, who was in the picture, and if I wanted to add a little bit more detail, I would do that. And mind you, this is just like the head of, like a child. And I didn't really think a lot of it through. I also didn't have a lot of guidance and stuff. And I wasn't, there were things that I knew, and I saw them, and I wanted to, like, I would see a certain item, and it would give me inspiration. And I used to live in I didn't live in the U.S. at the time. And there, where I used to live, there were no Joann's or Michael's and stuff like that. I think these kind of shops are in the U.S. and maybe some of them are in Canada. I'm not even sure. And so I think Michael's is in Canada too. And so, for somebody that would appreciate crafts and want to do crafts and things like that, it was a little bit harder because you really had to have a lot of guidance and someone that had the know-how to really guide you and teach you where to go and how to acquire certain things. And it wasn't like a giant store in every mall or something like that, or really close to where I live. So that was a challenge, but I did manage to do that. And when I did go back a few years ago with my husband, I took all of it, and it's in my basement. And I really need to kind of figure that out. So I just, for whatever reason, there was a gap, Right before I got pregnant, we moved into our permanent home, our forever home, which we were looking for years. And we finally found it. And as soon as we moved in, I got sick every few weeks. I would be on medication, and then in a couple days, or 3 or 4 days after I was done with my medication, I was like, fine. I would start with something different again. So I was really just constantly sedated in a sense. And then as soon as that was over, I got pregnant right away. And the whole time with my pregnancy was just really a fog because I had hyperemesis gravidarum. And so in just out of nowhere, I would have a burst of energy. And then that burst of energy is my energy for that day. And I'd crash. I would just sleep anywhere, the floor, the kitchen, the dining room. So I had to, tell myself all the time to just sit on the couch when you want when you get tired and you're feeling all fatigued and you're gonna be just going to fall asleep, it's safer, it's more comfortable, and it's better than waking up on the floor. Excuse me. And your neck is going to be sore and things like that, and your shoulder and your arm and stuff. So that was what happened. And then I gave birth to my son, and it was just me. My husband had a few weeks of paternity leave. There was an aunt of ours that wanted to help, but she only stayed a few days. She wanted to stay for a week, but she only stayed a few days. There was this change of plans, and you get so tired with taking care of a newborn and then an infant, and when you get used to a certain routine, they progress into something different. Their routine becomes something different, so you have to catch up. So I felt like I was trying to catch up for that whole time. I really didn't feel like myself until my son was 14 months, I think, 14 to 15 months old. So he was a toddler, and that's when I kind of really realized and found myself a lot more, I guess. And it was just like bits and pieces too. It wasn't like a whole person right away, and I grabbed it as soon as, oh, there's a little sparkle over here. Well, let me get that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it would have been really great if I even knew, the option of having a happy planner and what it would have been at the time. I was introduced to Happy Planner. I think it was Happy Planner at the time. I think a year before my son was born, or before I was pregnant and stuff. But I just didn't realize the options that it came with and the ideas that I could have had. Because at the time, I think when the first time I ever saw it being used by a friend of mine, I was just having blinders everywhere, and all I was really focused on is looking for a home and finding our forever home, and going and setting up realtor and talking to realtors here and there and setting up a meeting and a lot of these things. So now that I'm really very educated about it, well, not an expert level, but as much as I can, for only knowing it for such a short amount of time, I feel like whenever we're going to be ready, especially with me, my body, because we're waiting for my body to heal, that we're going to try for a second child, is I already know what I'm going to do. I already have the idea. I already have all these things, So I know I've been just kind of chatting with you guys, and I had a great time doing this spread, and I took my sweet time because this is not just for me and my family. It's a bit dedicated, and specifically I'm making this for my son, and I'm really hoping he will appreciate it and keep it for the rest of his life and hand it down to his kids. So if you're interested in the pictures that I made, I actually used my Canon selfie, and all of the things that you are seeing right now will be linked down below, as much as I possibly can try to find them online where you can have more information about them, like who knows what you would like to see. Like for me, whatever I see in a video on YouTube, I like to go in the description box and try to see any kind of links that will link me to the product, and that link would hopefully provide all of the questions that I have in my head be answered. So so there you go. I really am loving my Canon selfie. I was really having a hard time just using my HP printer, and that is also linked below on what kind of printer I do have, because I have used both printers for my spreads. It's just that the ink for my HP printer is a lot more expensive to print out a lot of pictures versus the Canon Selfie. And I don't know, the Canon Selfie does print out like a really great picture. To me, it looks like it's professionally made because it's brighter. A lot of people don't like it because when they're taking a picture, a lot of times now, more so or not, they're using their phone. When you think about it, the color of the picture, it comes out looking as if it's professionally taken. When I say that it's professionally taken, I mean when you're like in a studio, when they have 5 to 10 lights, like huge lights focusing on you, so it's completely bright. That's what it looks like. I have conversed and I did inquire before I purchased this printer in I think all of my planner groups, and these are wonderful people that are also planner lovers and love to decorate and all that good stuff. And they gave their input, and a lot of people do like the sprocket and the what is that? They have a Canon. You know what I'm talking about, the pocket printers. There's an HP, there's a Canon, there's the Fujifilm. I think there's a fourth and a fifth, like a Kodak and a Canon IV, and then there's another one. I really wanted to get that. I actually asked Santa for Christmas, and then I hesitated. And then I backtracked and I said, I don't want this. I want to do more research on it. It's just that I was really hesitating on it because it has the Polaroid technology. And the Polaroid technology, it does fade through time. And I remember my mom was telling me about that because I wanted a Polaroid when I was like, not very long. I want a Polaroid essentially. And I'm like, Mom, I want a good Polaroid. And then she told me that she had a Polaroid when she was a kid. And the pictures don't really last, and she was showing me pictures of what she took, and it would just it wasn't like right away, you know. I mean, the oldest generation probably like in a month the color changes pretty quick. I'm sure that part they kind of changed a lot, but maybe it will last you 5-10 years, and that wasn't something that I wanted to really invest on, that I would get investing in a maybe. When I read about the Canon Selfie, it said that it was water resistant, as well as the picture should last you 100 years. And I'm like, sold. 100 years. So essentially the Canon Selfie, like when I was watching it and I was doing my research, so it will print. It's not like the fastest printer, but I don't really care. I'm not in a rush. And I don't really understand when people are like, oh my gosh, it takes a whole minute or 2 minutes to print. And it's like, all right, are you really that much in a rush though? Like, what are you rushing? Unless you're like a business, I think you should probably get, I don't know if you're going to be using this. Maybe you might use something else, you know? But usually people who do run picture businesses don't really use something like a Canon Selfie. I mean, if you want to, I guess. But anyway, my point is it does a pretty great job. Yes, it's a little bit, it's fast. I gotta tell you, it's fast, but you know what it is now. It's like everything is just a touch of a button and a swipe and a click and stuff like that. It's definitely not faster than a click. But I'd rather it took like 30 seconds to a minute, and the last layer is the protective layer, where it makes it stay for 100 years in the same shade, same color, same brightness, same darkness, same everything, same saturation. And it also helps it be water resistant as well as smudge proof, and it's completely dried because of that last layer. I really love that because I have been printing pictures through my printer, different printers over the years, obviously. And there are times sometimes when, you know, the ink will smudge and things like that. And this never does. It is amazing. I love it. And the one that I have is, I think, one of the later models, or the latest. I think that's what they told me. I don't know. But I believe it is either the latest model or one of the later models. So anyway, the links are going to be down below where you can get it. I always try to get you guys the best deals, the best prices. So it's down below, even including the accessories that you need to use with it. I think I have given you so much information about my life for this particular plan with me. And I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed making this video, because I really, really enjoyed it. I love that I was able to write down all these notes and note everything down and remind me, oh, this happened this day, this happened this day. Because not everything you're gonna be that quick to take a picture. You don't have your phone ready for a picture at every given moment. And when you do, a lot of times you only have that one moment, and you don't know the backstory, you don't know the middle, and you don't know what happened after. So that's what I really wanted to capture. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video.